I got all caught up and I was watching a bunch of games, and I got really silly on Facebook and I started posting stuff. And it really made me understand that many people do not understand the value, cost, opportunity cost. There's many, many things that people just don't understand. Something I was Good morning, good morning, good morning. AM hustle. That you have many people who are really, really caught up on the only way to save money is to be, just for the lack of a better words, fucking cheap. And I understand being economical. If you notice, I never use the word cheap. I use economical, better bang for your buck, something like that. But many people are just cheap. And let's just jump into what started all this. And I'm gonna let you know where I'm going in just a minute, because you know where you are. Give you an idea of what started this. I don't think this is the picture. I had posted, if you don't know, I got a Tumblr blog and I have this really fascination about black and white photography. Anything that's black and white, it intrigues me. So I was playing around, and this is the setup. I got two iMacs, MacBook Pro, and when I'm really humping, literally all three of the computers will be going hard. This, the one that you see the closest to you, maybe it's processed 1,000 videos. It still works. It still gets the job done, but it's clearly much slower than it used to be because I have really worked the shit out of it. So I posted, I think that one, or let's see, let me go to the other one. Yeah, I got pictures for you. I got all kinds of stuff up here. I think it was that one that I posted. And, people were like, I understand there's a war between Apple people and Android people. It is a tense civil war that people are just going to lose their minds because, it's too much money. Well, I posted there, and then someone I know who's broke as fuck, I know this because I know the person, it was like, because essentially I'm sharing more of how I make money. I'm putting more stuff in there about my process. And I've just put up there how I make money, because essentially many people are confused. They think that this is magic jelly beans, hocus pocus, something like that, when really it's a lot of damn hard work. And I started putting out some of my tools. And then the thread just kind of went on and went on and went on. And I do remember I just got a new 27-inch. And when I went to the bank to pull the money out the business account, I was just talking, because, they know me there. And I was just saying, I'm going to get a new computer. And I was going to get the fully tricked out version, but I looked at the specs and stuff and realized I didn't really need that. It was going to be $2,700. If I went really crazy, it's going to be $3,400 with the solid state drives. But I got what I got, and it's doing what it needs to do. And when I mentioned the price, it was like, well, you could have something built for much cheaper to get the job done, Hackintosh and everything. And I was like, man, I'm going to do this. And, I'll start there. There's more economical, and then there's the loss of value. All right. I transitioned from Toshiba to Apple in 2011, and it was a good transition. Apple's just more intuitive, easier to use. It used to take me, back in the Stone Age, just a long, long time ago, way back in the day of YouTube, it would take me sometimes 6 to 8 hours to do one video, between doing the video, processing the video, and uploading it. It was a lot. And if you have been with me since that time frame, you notice when I just started uploading like 2 and 3 videos a day. That's because I got better equipment that allowed me to do it, because I was able to process a video in 30 minutes down from 2, 3, 4 hours. And the thing is, I had this Toshiba laptop, which I have this video up of how to clean the fans because of a poor design on Toshiba's part. And I was just like a kid in the candy store. So, I can make all these videos. I can make all these videos, right? And it's just, I haven't looked back. I will say that if I wasn't doing all of the audio, the building of courses, all of these YouTube videos, I probably wouldn't need a Mac, but knowing what I know today, the things that I have, the knowledge base that I built, I would have one because they're just better machines, in my opinion, for what I do. So we get into the talk, and I just like, no. Now, let me tell you, if I had did what everyone else wanted me to do based upon their opinion, and everyone has the right to have their opinion, but their opinion is based on what I call a lack mindset. Sometimes spending a lot of money is actually the most valuable way to go, not necessarily the front end cheaper or front end topical cost, but it's sometimes the best way to go. And let me tell you, if I had listened to other people and went, quote, cheaper, I would have got a system, would have had to wait. Then I would have had to use, because I wouldn't have been able to use the Apple iOS. No, I wouldn't have able to use that. I would have had to use something else. I would have had to learn something else. Maybe it would have been easier. Maybe it would have been. All of a sudden, my efficiency changed, because when this thing was humping, I was putting out 2 and 3 videos a day. I was processing. I have a process. I have an infrastructure that would have been disrupted with retraining, possible screw ups, possible hardware failure. A lot of things could have went wrong that would have cost me time. And if it cost me time, it would have cost me money. Another reason is when I was doing the furniture business and I had this crew. There was one crew that was much cheaper, it had a good reputation, and there was another crew that was middle of the road, and there was another crew who had a great reputation, and they were more expensive. Now, I went with the more expensive crew because of the client. This client was very high end. This client was very, 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 very picky. And the expensive installation crew, you didn't have to tell them to put on booties and slippers, and they had gloves, and they just did so many things. And I remember dealing with this client after the install was done, after everything was said and done. They come over to me and they said, this was awesome. I was like, what do you mean? It's your crew. This is the best crew. If we ever have to do anything else again, I want them. Now, the other crew, which was cheaper, they wouldn't have had that presentation. They would have got the job done and there would have been no problems, but they wouldn't have had that presentation. And then I got 3 more projects out of that client because of the presentation. Whereas if I went with the cheap, probably wouldn't have got those other jobs, because like I said, I got who I got because I knew who I was dealing with. And that's a hard concept for many people to understand when you're living on that lack mindset, or the lack of abundance, or the lack. It's just, you can't save your way to wealth. You have to earn your way to wealth. You cannot save your way to wealth. It's not going to happen. And I've noticed that many people who often go the cheap route, and you always hear the stereotypical person who has money, who's just cheap, and many people are like, well, that's how they got all their money, because they were cheap. No. And I guarantee you, even the cheapest so-and-so spends money somewhere. I like Andy, the guy that owned the ATM company. I found out where he lived. House was laid. Saw all of the cars out there. I mean, he spent money in other areas. He didn't spend money on office furniture. He didn't spend money on the building that his company was in, but he spent money. People with money spend money somewhere. May not necessarily be where you can see it. You know, I was talking to someone about a friend of ours who, she was just like, why does he have that old beat up car? I was like, he doesn't give a shit about cars. And she's like, well, maybe, he could do better. I was like, he makes more money in a month than you make in a year. What are you talking about? And she just looked at me. She didn't really know, because she was based upon her lack mindset, or her pedestrian mindset of what wealth is. Shit, I drive a 2000. I got a 2007 40i. I think Blue Book on that sucker's like $3,000, $4,000, something like that. And I don't really care. There's a whole bunch of people out there who are like predicating what your success should be based upon their template, which is often, if it's a broke person template, is flawed. It's got problems. It's got issues, because if the template was factual, if the template was good, then they would not be broke. So you can't go by a broke person's template on how to be successful. And many people like, there's this book, and a lot of people love it, The Millionaire Next Door. Humble, not ostentatious, not flashy, just like you, except they live in a house like yours. They drive a car like yours, but they got all this money in the bank because they're the millionaire next door. Okay. Now, I live in a neighborhood with millionaires and a few billionaires, and they don't live like that. They don't live like that. I'm just like, these folks, and they're not being ostentatious. A lot of them have the $1 million house, and that is a small percentage of their net worth. It's not a big chunk of their net worth. Matter of fact, sometimes when I'm bored, I do a property search around here, and a lot of the houses and stuff around here are in LLCs. Trust. They're not, you can't, I understand the premise of the book, which is good, that you should build a business, you should manage your money wisely, but we live in 2015 where you have someone who's watching this video, who's broke right now, who's going to take this message in, they're going to listen, and 5 to 8 years from now, they're going to be rich. Yeah, because they're going to listen, they're going to pay attention, and they're going to let go of all of that broke person template stuff. Because when I put up a video talking about, like, I don't have stocks and all this other stuff, I don't own anything. And then I talked about a lot of folks I know who own no stocks, none, who were rich. I got a new group of people who started following me because I said that. Because one person piqued me to his portfolio, and he has no stocks, nothing, but got a net worth about 8 mil. Yeah, so you can't go by broke person's templates. And also with value, money, you should have some investments. But once again, what's an investment? It's not always the stock market. There are people who are doing amazingly well in the stock market, good times, bad times, because they know what the hell they're doing. And some of them buying and holding. I mean, Warren Buffett, he's great. He's done things. But let's look at when he started. My big thing with the 401k and the other thing is the timeline. If you start at 20 something and you manage to not get divorced, and you manage, all this stuff impacts your portfolio. You get married at 22, you got a nice portfolio, you get divorced around 35. Guess who's going to get a sizable chunk of that portfolio that you started? Yes, the ex-wife or the ex-husband, if their attorney is good, which might be like Eddie said, half, maybe half. So you got to deal with that. So if you start saving early, and avoid all of those pitfalls of life, don't have kids, steadily staying, get good returns. Yes, you can save, you can invest your way slowly to wealth. It does work, but that's counting on no bullshit happening. Good luck with that. You've got all of this stuff going on. And then I just really thought, why do people think like that? Then I was like, okay, dial it back a few decades. You used to think like that at one point. Why did you think like that at one point? Number one, didn't have really good perspective on life. Didn't understand what life was. Didn't understand how money was made. Didn't understand that, in my opinion, the quickest way to a decent lifestyle, wealth, is a business. To me, because when I was, quote, in the stock market, I was up there like, well, yes, I'm an investor. Yes, I'm an investor. Reason my portfolio was looking so good was because I was putting a lot of principal in every month. It wasn't appreciating. It was due to contributions. And when I woke up and I was like, whoa, that's not, I could have did something totally else with that money and been better off. But the whole deal is, when you think like that, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And you've got people, once they reach that, I'm grown. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown woman. They got all that stuff going on. You can't tell them shit. I've really just stopped fucking with certain people. And the message towards this channel is going to be to the kids. I got a lot of kids watching, 16, 17, 18. Because it's like, hey, I'm a kid. How do I start a business? I'm going to start talking to them, because a lot of you grown motherfuckers, you can't tell you shit. You already know. So what if the car you have out there is on its last leg. So what if your bank account is on E? So what? It doesn't matter. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing, boo-boo. You know. So I can't tell you. I don't have any messages for you. I don't have any magic jelly beans. I can't tell you. But for people who realize that their shit is janky and need to improve and their mind is open, yeah, I can tell you some things. And the meaning of value is more than just the front end. And that's what people look at, the money up front. Because I got an email from someone that was about one of the courses, which was $49.95. Cheap. It was cheap for what you got. And it was like, do you have a refund policy? Do you have all this other stuff? I'm not really sure. And just all of these questions. Now, I have been a salesperson for a long time. When someone leads off with, can I get my money back? Then I got a little extra. I went ahead and investigated this person based on the email address. I saw what they were doing. I was like, oh, I didn't answer that email, because what some people do is they convince themselves that the shit's not going to work. I don't care how good the information is. They're like, ain't going to work. I need to make sure I don't get my money back. They've convinced themselves and they're not going to do the work. And the minute that, quote, the perceived it's not working point happens, hey, can I get a refund? Then I have someone who took that same course who's already made 20 G's. What I've learned doing this journey here on YouTube, it's not the price, it's not the course, it's the person. You can have two people take the same course, and one is gonna blow it out of the water, another one's gonna like, this shit ain't working. This motherfucker, this shit ain't working. Because you ain't working, motherfucker. And that's the crust. Because I will, when you look at my ass, I don't get into this over the top, fantastic copy. I keep it, I want to underwhelm you. So you're like, oh, okay, this may be cool. And you get in there and like, God, whoa, this is great. Versus I do all this hyped up shit. And then you get in there and you got all these hyped up expectations. And you're like, whoa, this ain't what he told me it was going to be. I'd rather have you come in like that versus this, the hypey hype world. That's why I use real numbers like, 6 months to 24 months, possibly, another 3 years, 4 years for your business is shiny and crisp versus, in 30 days, you're going to be rich. There are many people who are selling that message, and there are many people who are drinking that Kool-Aid. And I've seen people go from get rich scheme to get rich scheme to get rich scheme to get rich scheme, just keep going versus sitting down, buckling down, working hard, and understanding the true meaning of value. Let's see. Let me get rid of this picture and let's see what, like I said, I've been off this weekend having myself a good time. No, I wasn't drinking. I did not even have one drink this weekend. I'm not much of a drinker, but I was having some fun watching the games, wondering what our quarterback was going to do. Still not certain, because it was new quarterbacks always scary. It's really, really scary. Scary as hell. All right. I'm playing around in here because it's early. I was going to take the day off, but there's some things I want to do. So I'm going to do them. And I'm going to show you something. Let's see what went down with this. All right. Can we find it? Can we find it? Can we find it? All right. Nope. We don't want to do that. Hold on a second. I don't. Aha. That's kind of funny. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's giving me all kinds of jacked up stuff. This is kind of crazy. Well, all right. Once again, it's not doing what it needs to do. Well, this is Facebook tripping. But essentially, when you are looking to be successful, you got to understand the meaning of value. And value is not always hinged upon money. It's not. Let that go. look at what you want out of it. Let's see. Going back to the computers. Oh, there it is. Let's see. I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring you in my world. Hold on a second. These things that happen early in the morning. All right, you're in there. So this was the picture that caused all the stuff. Now, I just noticed something. 119 people like this picture, and there's a lot of conversation going on. A whole bunch. And I was just putting it up there because when you do the internet lifestyle, many people kind of think, and something else that's going to drop. I interviewed for the new show. I'll tell you know what? I'm probably going to give you a little sneak peek, a little sneak peek after I get through with this. I went through this, and here it is. Looks more like how Apple makes money. And this is my response. Your business will produce only what you put into it. Those that invest in hardware often see a huge return on the soft stuff known as dollars. Now, no response to that, because there are many people, and you see it on these real estate shows, who are just super cheap, don't want to spend a lot of money, and they want all of these returns and want all of this money. And it just doesn't happen. This just really doesn't happen. Now, this is the new bad boy, because I mean, it still works. It still works, but there's literally probably a 2-year period where that thing never went off, and I was always doing something on it. Still works. Everything lights up. It's just the fan comes on way too often, and I've took everything off of it. So, you know, I'm probably going to slap a solid state drive in it, because that seems to be the thing, because this is something else. People upgrade these things and change them around. Like this is a 17-inch. You see it, go to eBay and look up 17-inch Mac and see what you're seeing. Look at the prices. People hot rod these. Now, with the thing that I was going to tell you is, when you buy, and actually this is in one of my courses, buy name brand stuff. And this is something I learned in storage auction business. You go out and get really poo cheap, right? You save topical money. But right now in my closet, that might be 30 Ralph Lauren shirts. I could sell those 10 to 20 bucks, maybe more. Some of them are purple label, and make some money. I could literally do that. Now, all of them came out of storage units years ago. When you buy name brand, you're going to spend more money on the front end, but you can also get money on the back end. You can't do that with no name booty products. Like, say I went out and got a Hackintosh and built it myself, and I wanted to sell it. There's no defined marketplace, but there's a defined marketplace for these these computers. Let's see. I'll tell you what's on the desk. Roughly $10,000 worth of computers, because this one is tricked out. I spent 3,500 bucks on that, and 12 to, and there's an iPad, maybe $8,000. Now, was it worth the money? Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. Yeah. But the thing is, I'm a internet person. If you're not doing internet, if you're like doing some other business where you're not dependent upon hardware processing, because you're not dependent upon processing. Video is very, very hard on your computer. Next to gaming, video is like the top thing. Video processing, rendering, doing all that stuff is really hard on your computer. And there's a reason that many creative professionals, I'm not going to say all, but I could say most, have Apple computers. There's a reason, because they help their shit out. It works, man. And let's see if I can give you a little taste real quick. Let's see if anybody's making comments. You'll see more live events, and I had some software for the other way to do it, and it seems to crash. I'm gonna see if there's another one. Let's see. Mary, you keep it real. That's why I sub. I seem to have trouble with that. Every time I try to enjoy myself a bit, I feel myself not really enjoying it, because I feel like the extra time I could use to work and increase my chances of being successful. Here's one, the Turn Up Princess, diversify stocks plus business. Okay, I'm going to answer that. And I want you to do this research. This is how it goes. You got someone that starts a business. Then they get in the stock market later on after they have an exit strategy, which is they've sold their business and they may have 8 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. So their whole thing is to create income and preserve wealth, preserve capital. Then they may jump in the stock market and bonds for stuff like that. But for you to earn your way, or because like everyone's in the stocks and they're making monies, I'm wired differently. It's me spending $100,000 and getting a 10% return is not real exciting to me. I'm sorry, a 1%. Or maybe like say 10%. Okay, you spend 100,000, you get 10 grand a year. So you would need $1 million at that 10%, which is hard to get consistently. So you got $1 million put away, and that gives you 100,000 income a year after capital gains tax. It's about 85,000. Now, if that works, is great. Now, let's say, but see, the thing is, you need the $1 million to make that 100 grand. Now, let's talk about the business. Let's talk about, say, you start an online shop selling jewelry. You invest 2 grand because you're not holding inventory. You're making it yourself. And in 2 years, you scale that up to where it's making 250,000. So your 2 grand invested in your business with some reinvestments here and there has a much broader return that you can control because you own the business. You can't control the stock market. War happens. Guess what? We're going down. Oil prices go something. We're going. There's so many things that you can't control. But in your business, you can control that. And you can scale up. You can increase your money with a much lower investment, much lower risk, and less people in the circle. Because when you have your business, it's you and your customers. When you're in the stock market, it's you against the world. All kinds of stuff. Like I said, I played that game. Hey, maybe I can learn some more lessons. But for right now, I'm not messing with it. I've got people like, hey, let's do this. Let's do this. That's not me. I'm not doing that stuff because call it maybe a little different in terms of being, I know some things. Let's put it this way. I've seen how money works, and I've seen too many people start a business and within 5 years end up really well off or rich. I've not seen that with the stock market, folks. I've seen people maximize their 401k, do all this stuff. I saw someone that worked really hard, got 5 years between their house, their insurance policy, and everything. They had $1 million net worth. Ooh. There's too many ways that shit can go sideways when it's highly leveraged net worth. So those are some things that you have to look at and think about. Let's see what else is in the comments. Any more before I get into this other thing? All right, I'm gonna show you some. I'm going to go into, because this is going to come up. I hadn't decided if I'm going to release this because I got a new thing that's coming up. It's the show. It's the Hustlers Kung Fu show. Yeah, I'm like crackhead excited. For real. And let's see. You won't be able to hear the audio that well. You'll be able to hear a little bit, but I'm going to give you a preview of what's coming up. Here we go. I can get in there. The title's going to change. Hold on. Let me stop it. All right. There's my mouse. It kind of disappeared on me for a second.
If you would have told me 10 years ago that one day I would be talking to a video camera in my basement about things like how I personally shave my testicles, and this is what I was going to consider successful, I would have punched you in the face.
Look, Amazon, I can't do eBay. What can I do? And I was like, thought it was pretty simple.
It's sort of scary when you think about it. It's like what I was doing when I was 16. I was working at a gas station. I was working at a
All right, that's coming up later on today. Might come up after this video. I haven't decided. See, this is holiday, and people like to binge out on videos during holidays because this weekend someone went through and watched 20 and left comments on all 20. People do that, like the Netflix thing. But the new show is, and this is what I'm bringing you. When I did the no eBay, no Amazon, people lost their minds. They were like, you scared us, man. We can't make, we can't makes it, right? And I was like, it's been bugging me ever since I made the video. So what I'm going to do is go out and get entrepreneurs, people like his interview is dope. He puts out real numbers. He talks about a lot of personal stuff that happened to him. I didn't expect to get that. So it's a great, and he's a really, really cool guy. But I'm going to bring more people like that to you, more folks who are making money online. So that way there'll be more than just me going, you can do it. You can do it, boo-boo. You can do it. Just you no, it's gonna be like, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example, here's an example. Because the thing I realize is I know who all these folks are and I've seen them and I follow them, but you don't. So with that, I'm gonna bring that to you. And just with the whole value thing, you gotta understand that when it's predicated strictly on the topical element of money, how much money you spend, then you could be missing so much stuff. You could actually spend less money and cost yourself more money in the long run. Because another reason I bought the Mac is it's got a warranty. And say this sucker blows up, I can go right back to the store like it blew up, and they're going to give me another one that day. I have this one built, and if you notice, a lot of these things they only give you like 90-day warranties and stuff like that. And I've not had an issue with them, but once again, if I do, I have recourse. So that's another thing in the mind. And when I used to sell furniture, residential furniture, I've noticed that people have shifted because it used to be people bought furniture based upon durability because they're going to keep it a while. But people like to change their style up so much, so they don't really care about durability because it's not going to last that long because they're going to change it. But if you want to build your business, you have to understand the true meaning of value to you, value to your customers. Because with that, I'm going to show you, hold on, get rid of these windows because I'll pop off into some and I'll just get lost and it'll be so sad. Essentially, there's some confusion about my consulting services, and I thought I would make a short video to give you an idea of what's going on. Business consulting, business coaching, what I can do for you and you and you and you. Because many people are coming in and they have some expectations that I messed up and put those expectations in your head. So I'm going to reach in your head and rattle it around and pull them out and just throw them away like they're gone. Number one, I'm not doing any eBay consulting. I don't know. People keep saying, hey, I hate fucking eBay, okay? I fucking hate eBay. eBay. Why would I consult? Why would I even? No, it makes no sense. Amazon consulting. No, I don't do Amazon consulting. There's tons of people who do eBay coaching, Amazon coaching. I'm not one of them. I'm the guy that believes in having your own website. I'm the guy that believes in creating and using internet assets to build your stuff, not using someone else's, because I think even in the beginning, they're very good and they make you money, but at some point, they bite you in the ass. So at some point, if you're going to do this thing, you must have your own internet properties. At some point, you have to have it. So why not do that first? And if you still feel the urge, that little scratch to go do the third party platform, do it. But work on your own stuff. So just get that clear. I don't fuck with eBay. I don't mess around with Amazon.
And what do? I am a strategist. I am a growth person. I do business development. Strategy, why are we doing what we're doing? And create a roadmap to get you from point A to point B. Because many people are so in their business that they can't see their business. It's like, I can't see the inside of this shirt because I got it on. It's kind of like where many of you are with your business. You're so invested in it and you're so close to it, you can't see it because you're in it. So with me, I'm like, okay, that's going on, hold on, oh yeah, you got that going on in there too. So that's where the strategy comes from, because many small business owners have me syndrome. I can figure it out. I'm the smartest person. No, you can't figure it out. If I didn't come across Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field, Tony Robbins, Tommy Hopkins, there were so many mentors that I picked up along the way because I couldn't figure it out. And there are many of you who's like, I'm going to figure it out. And what you're going to run into is an information ceiling. The information that you have is only going to get you here. And that's it. You're not going any further. You're not building any further because it's just you. I want you to think about something. And I've said this and no one has mentioned it in the comments since I've been doing YouTube. I started in the storage auction business with a partner from day one. It was never just me. There's always been additional elements to my business success. I had a partner. I had a very good partner who was an accountant. Okay, let's talk about that. So the business was properly structured, account set up, banking from day one. That's one of the reasons that I was able to beat the Clampetts and these other people, because we had proper business protocols from day one. It makes a huge difference, which means if you're just thinking you can do it by yourself, and there's some of you who are brilliant and you'll get it done by yourself, but the truth of the matter is most of you will not. That's reality. Not hating, just stating. So growth. You got a business that's going on, but there's this disconnect between the internet and certain people. Because I've said this before, you'll see someone, they're doing really great out there in the real world, but they can't really get it on the internet because the internet is a separate business, as I talked about in another video. Actually, that video is in Hustle University. Sorry about that. It's a different animal. It's different. It's like different section of the matrix with its own rules and regulations. So seriously, if you have a physical business and you have an internet business, you have two businesses. You don't have one. You have two. And if you treat them as two distinct businesses, you're going to get more traction. So business development. What are we going to do? What can we do? There's many times you want to start a business, and once you start getting feedback from the world, it will lead you to start another business or another service or another product. Many people get scared and they'll be like, I'm going to do what I want to do because it's a dream. Versus taking the feedback, they ignore it and they crash and they just go boom. So I'm the guy that's like your guide, your shogun. I just show you the way. I can help you build up so many things. Now, this is something you really need to do before you contact me, because many people, and that's why I'm doing this video, ask yourself, what kind of life do you want? Now, this is going to sound offensive, but if you are more concerned with creating some business processes to get some money and forget the whole lifestyle planning, I don't want to work with you. And this is why. Because you'll build up that business, and because you neglected the lifestyle planning, you're going to end up in the same place you were today emotionally. Even your business might be humming along, you might be making money, and just to put a dark moment on that, sometimes when people are fantastically wealthy from a fiscal standpoint, but their soul has poverty, their spirit is bankrupt, sometimes these people kill themselves with millions of dollars in the bank. Just to let you know, that shit doesn't mean anything when your total life isn't together. So if you don't want to work on the lifestyle planning, because that's something I require, like, what kind of life do you want? How do you want to live? What kind of hours you work? And people are like, well, I don't want that. I just want, give me the stuff to make some money and then shut the fuck up and get on. I don't want to work with you. If that's your thing, there's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of business consultants. Go find one, because I'm going to put you through that process. And it's a good process because I put myself through the process, and that's the reason I don't have to deal with traffic. That's the reason I get to work at home. That's the reason in the middle of the day I go work out in the gym, because I don't have to deal with certain things because it was all part of a plan, a lifestyle plan. I don't want to drive. I don't want to commute. So I created a business to serve those needs. Now, why is that important? Brings your stress level from. I get in traffic, I don't get road rage because I'm not exposed to that. I'm not exposed to that all the time. So that's very, very important. Less stress, less wear and tear on your spirit and body. You can't replace this. It renews itself, but the less stress you put on it, and it's good, there's good stress and there's bad stress, but the less bad stress you put on it, the longer, the healthier you are. To me, that's incredibly important. Maybe not to you, but to me, it's incredibly important. So, lifestyle planning. So, another part of this is, where do you want to go? What kind of business? I mean, where do you want to go? What are you doing? Do you want to save well? I mean, what? What is your thing? What do you want to do? Because there are many people who's just like what I call a get money hustler. I just want to make some money because I have an immediate financial need and I need to solve that problem now. I don't want to work with you. Number one, you're broke. Just straight up, you're broke. You don't have any money to pay me, and you will work the shit out of me with no money. I did it a few times just to be charitable, and it was one of the worst experiences because when you are not only fiscally broke, your spirit may be broke. Money comes and goes, but it's hard to fix a broken spirit. It may never be fixed. I don't have those kind of powers, so you need to come to me with some kind of intact stuff, some things that you're working on. So I can't do that. I just can't do that. It is just crazy. Now, how much money do you want to make? I ask people this all the time, and I get the the outlook is the standard answer is as much as possible. That's a bullshit answer. It's very hard to quantify as much as possible. It gets you nowhere. You know, today $30 will be as much as possible, and then your mind's like, okay, that's as much as possible, and then that's where you are. You need to have a number. You gotta have a number. The number helps you tremendously. It forces you to focus. Forces you to look at things from a critical standpoint. Just, I want to make as much money as possible. Oh, I just hope to be happy. Oh, I hope to eat. Oh, I hope to have gas in my car. You go nowhere with that. Nowhere. So, nowhere you're going, have a number, and we'll just start from there. And also, let's talk about the process. It takes me time to figure out who you are, where you want to be. And that's part of the process because a lot of people email me and they want to talk. And I'll see the email and I can just tell from that first email that this is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 20-hour deal. If your life is fucked up, and it's been fucked up for a while, it's not going to become unfucked in an hour. It's not happening. So you got to invest in yourself. If you don't want to invest in yourself, that's fine. But don't expect me to invest in you when you don't want to invest in you. And that's what a lot of people do. It's like, hey, let's go to lunch. Hey, no. We need to do something. We need to make some stuff happen. And one of the beauties of having a lifestyle plan, I'm very blunt. I use profanity. I've been called unfucking professional, and I am unfucking professional. I have no desire to be fucking professional. I have a great desire to be me. And this is me. This is what you get. You meet me in the street. This is how I'm going to be. When business deals, I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to help you make more money. I'm going to help you have a better life. There's benefit because I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Because if you're paying me, I'm going to tell you about yourself, and we're going to do the things to make your business good, which is another part. You need to have a business. You need to have a business. If you don't have a business, we are into business development planning, which takes hours. I cannot talk to you for 10 hours and get just a lunch. It's emotionally depleting because I want you to be successful. I'm rooting for you. I'm like, I got pom-poms. I'm cheering for you. And that's a long commitment. So with that, how do I get paid? Per hour, per project, if you have a project. And this is once again where you need to tell me what you're trying to do, because there are many people who's like, hey, I want to do this, and they'll give me what I call topical stuff. And only after the money's paid and the clock is really ticking that they start telling me the truth. They'll tell me what they think. It's like, well, hey, this is. I have had people that I didn't really find out the secret thing from them until the third conversation, because it's like this. It's like I put on my hat and I'm in the mind and I'm looking for stuff. Okay. Oh, you do this? Well, let's do this and this and this. I have to find this stuff out to help you, and many people are not used to being freaking honest with themselves. It's just like, well, I want honest with that. Everything else is just hooty-hoo. So that's part of the process. So you gotta know. So get paid per hour, per project. And if you have a real business with real books and numbers, that means you have your accounts already set up. Or if I have to do it, I'll do an equity split. So say I improve your business X amount, then I get X amount with a monthly retainer. Because there are many people who's like, hey, let's do the equity thing. Then I'll work for a whole month. And this happened. I actually did this for someone, worked for a whole month. And they didn't want to pay me, and it wasn't because I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I did it too well. Because when her husband saw how much more money, he had a problem. He's like, well, was it really worth that? I mean, we'll just throw you maybe, this is what the guy said to me. He said, $800. It was a $20,000 differential. And he was like, well, yeah, that's worth about $800. And I just pulled up my contract and said, well, if I go to court, I'm going to get all 20. And then I got paid what they were supposed to pay me. So that whole thing is, and that's when, and once again, in my business, I have learned that I must set expectations. So if we do something equity, it's going to be a contract. You need to get an attorney. You need to look at this stuff, and it'll be a simple contract. But that's the deal. If you want to do equity, there will be some money up front, plus there'll be a monthly retainer, plus the equity per month. I go per month because when I was doing per quarter, that got a little dicey. So those are the three modes of how I get paid. Now, let's talk about life coaching. I get this all of the time. If you're on my email address, e-list, you see this. I'll send out something, and there's people who want life coaching, and they want to be guinea pigs and all this other stuff, but they don't want to pay for it. I don't have to give away stuff for free anymore. 2009, yes. 2010, a little bit. I don't have to do that anymore. And I'm not. So if you want those services, fine. So, all right, as I always do, because if you stayed here this long, you're really interested, and you're not fucking a pussy. Fucking doesn't really bother you. Actually, you're probably going to be fucking tonight because you're a winner. So this is the deal.